Good morning, coming to you live from Bettendorf, Iowa. I have some good news and bad news. Some of the things we can control, some of the things we can't control. Bombs away overseas, a very volatile night when it comes to shipping. On the plus side, ECB left rates unchanged. We have a volatile grain market already, some action in all the markets. Cattle are up, feeders are up. I'm ready to go with charts and graphs and everything else. Connor's got the slide deck loaded up. And for those of you who don't remember who Connor B is, I have a little introduction here.
Connor Bridgman, Assumption, Illinois, contributor, ATI ProMedia.
Connor B,
Look at,
that is so embarrassing. Welcome to the show.
thanks, Tommy. I never know what to expect with you.
That's a really cute slide. You look cute in that. Let's go. Load up
2
that
days
deck.
in a
What are
row
we
I've been
talking
called
about
cute.
first?
Yes, sir. You hinted at it, talking about logistics. Right now, we got grains down again, beans down 8, corn's down, sitting right at 4. And one thing that's not easing, Tommy, is the logistics. Houthi rebels launched their biggest attack to date on the merchant vessels in Red Sea. We were kind of hopeful, a lot of U.S. intervention. We were kind of hoping that would normalize. It's not looking like it's normalizing yet.
And, I watch the markets a lot. I trade them at night, and every single night we kind of trade up. I mean, it's not often we gap lower, but boy, the difference between the night market and the day market. Uh, Night markets, I hate to say this, it's just not what it used to be. And with volatility so low, speaking of volatility low, the CME group lowered margins on corn futures, soybean
Yes.
futures, other products. It's not something we would necessarily tell clients, but when I tell you the CME lowered margins, do you think that's because markets are volatile or not volatile?
Lower and not volatile.
Right. So it means tighter range. Yesterday, when we talked about the next 100 days of corn, we want you to lower your expectations, not because we have this magic 8 ball here that we pull out all types of mysteries and read palms, but when the CME group is lowering margins and lowering what limit up or limit down is, it's just them taking in their, they have about 16 factors that determine on why they charge you what they charge. What else are we talking about today, sir?
Yeah. Some positive news. Mortgage applications up 9.9% the first week in January. Highest we've seen in a long time, Tommy. Other thing I saw relating to this, refinancing. We saw a ton of refinancing. I think the number was 20-30%. Don't quote me on that. But a lot of refinances in the new year, which kind of surprised me because 2 years ago, what were rates were probably half of what they were. But I think people, they're probably playing catch up, the ones that had the higher interest rates. So,
Absolutely. And when we started the show, when we were practicing the show, and when we went live on the first day, I remember saying 10-year note 505. At the
Yep.
last day of the year, a few days before the last year, Joe was popping up 10-year note 3.80. Now we don't pop up the yields as much anymore because we've kind of stabilized. So the 10-year rate's at 4%. You add 3 points to that, and you get that interest rate. Speaking of interest rates, ECB
Yep.
left interest rates 4.5 and stated that they will keep rates at restrictive levels for as long as necessary. So
correct me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the ECB. They're not really buying in the noise. They want to see something of value from the Fed before they're going to lower interest rates, correct?
Yeah, for those of you watching at home in the back of the room having a hard time seeing it, that's European Central Bank. Just remember that, God, it's coming on like 20 some years that the euro was created and we got rid of a lot of currencies. And so they are as equally, if not more powerful in some ways than the Fed. Maybe I'm missaying that, but don't underestimate what the ECB does. So you have the United States, which is a powerhouse. Hey, remember that chart we showed last week of all the debt of different countries? Well,
Yes.
America was a big octagon there, and China was, but you have to add all those European countries up, and that would equal the ECB. So that's something we should look back at. Hey, we have a question. What are the
Robert.
odds we get a big surprise on the 12th? I'll go after that one. Robert, we already got the big surprise. The big surprise is that United States and the world are not prepared for what's happening on the political war front. The big surprise was that Russia invaded Ukraine. It wouldn't surprise me at all to have a short covering rally, but when grains are up at night and bombs go off in the all the shipping, not all, but a lot of the one of the major shipping areas, take your focus off what the USDA is going to tell you and put it more on the world global level that we have a bottleneck of shipping. And so there is way too much focus on the USDA number and not enough focus on our policies within the United States and in the world.
Very true.
What do we have for slides and budgets and everything else? I hear we have
Yeah.
an action-packed show.
Other thing
Great
for
question, though,
Robert,
Robert. I understand.
yes,
Go ahead.
and other color on that. I think Thursday, maybe Friday, Tommy, we'll really dive into that Jan 12th report. Our research team puts together a great slide that I look of that we can see the historical volatility. Is it going to predict what we're going to see Friday? No, but it is good to look at to see what we've done in years past. So jumping
real quick,
right into it. Yeah, go ahead.
From PJ, the options market currently has that corn could move about up 19 cents or down 19 cents. That's what the options market's saying. That's not what advanced trading's saying. That's if you did a certain option trade, they're saying we could go up 19 cents, we could go down 19 cents real quick. And not necessarily wanting people to do them, but there's something called a week 2 option again that will expire at Friday at 1:15. And this report comes out at 11. You talk about a short dated option. I mean, if someone needed massive upside or massive downside, a few pennies could go a long way. I don't necessarily suggest them because it just takes care of a tiny bit of the problem when I think you have a problem that's 1,000 days long. Sorry to go long. The show is yours.
No, good info. So, Tommy, yesterday we had some CONAB estimates for Brazil production, and no big surprises. They lowered corn and soybean production on lower yield. They lowered planting. No big numbers. We got a lot in there. I guess soybean area went up slightly, but if we're looking for something bullish, right, this is starting it. We're seeing them reduce production, lower that. We'll see what the USDA says Friday, but overall message is that Brazil lower production, lower area planted, and lower yield on corn soybeans. One thing to keep in mind as well, right? This is just Brazil. So when you look at production, well, it's lower than last year. We have Argentina and we have Paraguay as well. And so overall, right, production's not down in unless we take a massive hit on soybeans in South America. But Brazil, we are looking at some lower bean production.
Yeah, we have a question, and I pulled up a chart. Everything you're saying, I'm going to pull this chart back out real quick. Pull that back out, Joe. I'm not ready for that. But we have a question, and we'll get to that. Let's do questions at the end because I want to go through your slides. But Paul has a great question. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Okay. Pop that off. Other thing we have, any color on CONAB numbers? We good there, Tommy?
Yeah, and I'll get into it. That those numbers are so bullish that beans are down 7, right? That's my sarcastic. The show's free, and that's what you get. This number is so bullish that beans are down 7. Let's not get too revved up here, but
so
it's the markets rallied yesterday, Connor, and it felt like a huge rally. Really, all that happened yesterday was the markets quit going down. We found a value area. We flushed out on the open. Buyers came in. I talked about it on Scott the Cow Guy show on RFD. We hit a level yesterday where people found value.
Yeah, very true. And so keeping the bad news going, we had University of Illinois release their revised 2024 crop budgets. And so this, it's an estimate. They pool a lot of information. I think it's a great starting point. It does a lot of talking points. I love looking at it. I think they do a great job putting it together. And so no surprises here, Tommy. We are not looking at positive returns for 2024 in Illinois. They break it down by northern, central, and southern Illinois, and we're looking at negative returns when we factor in land costs. So couple things, a lot of numbers. I'd encourage you to go look at this, jump on their website and see what you think about it. But some things that stood out to me, we've talked a lot about expenses, not a whole lot. We're not seeing any big significant drops from 2023. And the other thing is the pencil really still pushes to soybeans, right? If we're talking returns on what we're budgeting right now. And it pushed to soybeans last year too, and we planted 94 million acres. So I don't know how much stock I'll put in that. But negative returns, not looking at positive, which isn't definitely different than what we've seen the past couple of years.
Farmers love to plant corn. That's all I say. Farmers love to plant corn. And if you have the equipment to plant corn, you have a dryer, you have bins, you're like hooked on planting corn. And there's some interesting things happening with the carbon credits when it comes to corn. There's interesting things everywhere. Most important, regardless of what the University of Illinois says, you have to manage the risk on your farm, pencil your numbers in, know what your costs are, and go from there. It is definitely a lot of things happening. I watch a lot of different shows, and there's a lot of different opinions. But the truth is that there's not. It's not easy to tell people things aren't going well, and I'll do that tomorrow in my speech and say that it's simple. The party was awesome, but the hangover's going to suck, and we are definitely. We just woke up and our head hurts, and it's just starting. Like, this is going to be a long hangover, and it's that's almost saying that prices don't go up. That's not necessarily true. Prices could go up, but the expenses will go up right with them. So the days of $7, $8 corn, the CME group in the options market doesn't think it's any time happening soon. Anything else we have, sir?
That's all we got. Let's dive into questions if you're ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
Paul Zimmerman, does trouble in the Suez hurt U.S. farm exports more or South America more?
I know Paul well. I will ask Cesar and Brian and Larry that question, and rather than make a fool of myself and answer it live on TV, we work with some really smart people. Of course, ATI ProMedia, we're powered by Advanced Trading Research Department. We have over there's 4 or 5 people in research, and then we work with a bunch of really smart commercial brokers. That's a great question. We'll get back to you, Paul. Thanks for asking.
My first thought on that, Tommy, Suez Canal is going to be Europe to China, right? That's that main trade route. And so does it hurt the U.S. or South America more? Shipping, everything, it's all fungible. If it hurts here, it's going to hurt us slightly. So I love to hear what Cesar says, right? I'm just throwing this out there, but I feel like it's an even. I don't know if it hurts South America or U.S. more, is my first initial reaction.
I'll get this next one. Brazil, our friend Luke, Brazil continues to take more share of the export market, so the domestic market matters even more. What is the hope for the future increase of domestic use for row crops? Well, great question. We do have hope. I'll tell you the difference between U.S. and Brazil right now. In the U.S., our whole focus is about feelings and making you feel good about yourself and your political views. In Brazil, they're into producing bushels and selling them into China. Totally two different agendas. We have a political election coming up, and 99% of the people want to go buy affordable food. I don't even know that housewives or farmers who go shopping for themselves love paying a lot at the grocery store. Commodity prices are set to go down over history, and I believe they will. Brazil is kicking our butt when it comes to producing crops and getting them exported to our number one buyer, China. So we are definitely more worried about feelings than exports.
Yes. And if we're looking for hope of increased domestic use, that's going to be that 3-letter acronym SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel, right? We talked a lot and we'll continue to talk about these crush plants coming online, right? Instead of exporting the raw commodity, could we be exporting and using soybean meal? So is there hope for domestic use and domestic demand? Absolutely. It's on the table, and I hope I want that to continue to come to fruition and continue to have that demand in-house. So there is absolutely hope, Luke, and we'll see. It'll be a couple years down the road when we'll see.
Real quick, Connor, I'm going to pop something up. So our friend Robert's worried that the Dukes are going to corner the market, and they already know what the USDA number is. Rather than worry about the Dukes, I understand you're doing some premium content here after work with Cesar. Talk about that a little bit, and how can people get that premium content?
Yeah, feel free. Reach out to us. Cesar and I are going to film. We're going to do a fundamental outlook kind of before this report, see where we stand on the balance sheet side. Filming that tomorrow. Give us a call, send us an email if you want to see it. We'll definitely get that out to you if you need it. And I think with that, Tommy, I think that's all we got. Feel free, like and subscribe. Watch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Give us a call, send us an email. And I think with that, we will see you tomorrow.
Yep. Producer Joe's putting out shorts. Check out our TikTok channel. Check out our YouTube channel. Every day we review the show and break down the 10, 12 minutes we talked and try to bring you the best 15 segment seconds. For you crazies out there on TikTok, click on us, like and subscribe, ATI Pro Media. Now here we go to this cute girl who works at Advanced Trading. See you, buddy.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.